Let's walk through secure network architecture concepts you'll need to recognize on the Security Plus exam. As we go, focus on how scenarios are described, because the exam rarely asks for definitions directly. Instead, it gives you clues, and your job is to match those clues to the correct concept. We'll begin with how networks are structured to separate, protect, and control access. If a question describes public-facing servers that need to be accessible from the internet while still protecting the internal network, you are looking at a demilitarized zone, or DMZ. A demilitarized zone is designed to isolate external services like web or email servers from the internal network. A common trap is confusing this with an air gap, but remember, a DMZ still connects to the internet. It is not fully isolated. Now, if the scenario talks about separating departments like HR, finance, and IT, while still using the same physical switches and cabling, that points to a virtual local area network, or VLAN. A virtual local area network provides logical separation, not physical separation, which is why it is often confused with an air gap. The key phrase to recognize is same infrastructure, different segments. Now let's go deeper, because this is where exam questions get tricky. If a system is completely isolated with no internet connection and no network access at all, that is an air gap. An air gap means physical disconnection. The easiest way to remember this is that nothing goes in or out electronically. If the question mentions critical systems completely isolated, this is your answer. Shifting from network structure to how traffic is controlled, if the scenario describes web filtering, caching, or hiding internal IP addresses, that refers to a proxy server. A proxy server acts as a middleman for traffic, especially web traffic. The common confusion is with a jump server, but a proxy deals with user traffic, not administrator access. If instead the question focuses on administrators securely accessing systems through a controlled gateway, that is a jump server. A jump server is a hardened system used as a stepping stone for administrative access. The key difference is that it is used by administrators, not general users. Now, if the question describes a hardened system that is exposed to the internet with minimal services running, you are dealing with a bastion host. A bastion host is designed to be secure even while exposed. It is often confused with a jump server, but the distinction is that a bastion host is an exposed system, while a jump server is an access point for administrators. Next, if the scenario mentions a fake vulnerable system designed to lure attackers and observe their behavior, that is a honeypot. A honeypot is intentionally made to look like an easy target, so defenders can monitor malicious activity. A common trap is confusing it with a DMZ, but remember, a honeypot is not for hosting real services. It is a decoy. Now let's transition into traffic patterns, because this is another area the exam tests heavily. If the question describes movement within a network, such as attackers moving from one internal system to another, that is called east-west traffic. East-west traffic refers to lateral movement inside the network. If instead the scenario describes traffic entering or leaving the network, such as communication with the internet, that is north-south traffic. This is external-facing traffic. The key difference to remember is simple. East-west is internal movement, north-south is external communication. Now let's bring in a modern security concept that ties everything together. If a question emphasizes never trust, always verify, continuous validation, or assuming breach, that is zero trust. Zero trust means no user, device, or system is trusted automatically, even if it is already inside the network. A common trap is confusing this with segmentation, but zero trust is a philosophy, not just a design. Finally, if the scenario describes checking whether a device is compliant before allowing it to connect to the network, you are looking at network access control, or NAEC. Network access control ensures devices meet requirements like having up-to-date patches or antivirus before gaining access. It is often confused with 802.1x, but the difference is that NAC evaluates the device's health, not just authentication. Now let's bring all of this together into quick recognition patterns. If you see public-facing isolation, think demilitarized zone. If it is logical separation on the same hardware, think virtual local area network. If it is completely disconnected, think air gap. If traffic is being filtered or relayed, think proxy server. If administrators are accessing systems securely, think jump server. If the system is hardened and exposed, think bastion host. If it is a fake system meant to attract attackers, think honeypot. If movement is internal, think east-west traffic. If it involves communication with the outside world, think north-south traffic. If nothing is trusted automatically, think zero trust. And if a device must be validated before access, think network access control. If you can recognize these patterns, understand the differences, and watch for common traps, you'll be able to quickly narrow down answer choices and select the correct one with confidence.